Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being patient. We got started just a couple of minutes, a little bit late. Um, but I want to welcome you to our kindergarten orientation. Kindergarten/Young Fives. I'm Mr. Martin. I'm the principal at Gudith Elementary Schools. I see several names on our Zoom meeting that I know and that are familiar to me. So we are excited that we were able to meet tonight. We do wish that we were in person. Hopefully, sometime soon we'll be able to do that. So I'm in a little like TV studio right here. So we have a lot of parts going on, and so if you have a question or something, you can unmute yourself and you can say excuse me, or you can put it in the chat. And Miss Rosa is here, and she's going to help monitor the chat and get me all those questions that you might have. So either like I said, if you need to stop me, that's okay. Say excuse me, and I'll stop. We can get a question, and then or you can put it in the chat, and I'll be sure to answer all the questions by the end of our presentation. I look a little blurry on my end. Mrs. Outland, do I look a little blurry to you on the presentation? Do I look okay? All right. Mrs. Stewart, can you hear me? Wait, give me a nod if you can hear me, Mrs. Stewart. Uh-oh.
Hey.
Mrs. Wyatt, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up, Mrs. Wyatt, if you can hear me talking. I don't think anyone can hear me, Mr.
I can't get the volume to work.
Vasher.
Yeah, we can't hear anything either.
Okay. It's like, is it me? I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, they haven't started talking yet, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought I did.
I think they'll be on they're waiting for everybody to kind of join the meeting, so nothing's
Okay.
quite yet. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Outland, can you hear me now? I look on my Zoom. Then they're going to hear me through Zoom, not through the. And I look very fuzzy. The whole thing looks very blurry.
Mr. Martin, I can start hearing you now.
Yes, I turned
Finally.
turn my my mic on in Zoom. So everybody, welcome to our Kindergarten Young Five orientation. And it says kindergarten because Young Fives is part of kindergarten. We'll get to all that in just a moment. I'm Mr. Martin, and I'm the principal at Gudith Elementary School, and I've been here at Gudith for 11 years. Next year we started my 12th year at Gudith as the principal. So been around a little while, and hopefully we'll bring to you this evening a lot of information that we've learned over the years, some new stuff, and some ways that you can help prepare your child for the start of kindergarten next school year, or Young Fives. I'm in a little TV studio here kind of thing, and we got a lot of different technology pieces going on. So there could be a little delay in the way I'm speaking or something like that, but I just want to make sure that there's always the chat available. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat. Miss Rosa is here with me, and she's going to monitor the chat. And if there's a question that comes up, she's going to let me know what that is. But also, I want you to feel free that if there's something that I'm saying, please stop me and just say, excuse me, Mr. Martin, unmute yourself, ask the question, and then we'll continue on. Okay? So first I want to say welcome to our graduating classes of 2034 and 2035. I know some of you right now are saying, oh my goodness. And so if you are entering kindergarten next year, you will be in the graduating class of 2034. And if you are in the Young Fives, you'll be in the graduating class of 2035. Now that seems like a long way off, but all of you know that these years will go by so quickly. I have a 15-year-old son myself, and it seems like just yesterday I remember bringing him home from the hospital. So it is they do go very quickly, and hopefully we'll make it fun and entertaining and a lot of learning through the first few years. So again, I am Mr. Martin, principal. Our secretary of the school, our administrative assistant, is Mrs. Caldwell, and she is there kind of helping me keep everything going in the right direction. And then our student advocate at our school is Mrs. Godlewski, and she's there to help with student things like attendance and lunches and medicine and those types of things that are attached to students. And Mrs. Caldwell is there to do everything, but also all the business part of running the school as well. So the three of us are in the main office and there to help you answer questions and get you what you need. So this is who they are, Mrs. Caldwell and Mrs. Godlewski. So at school they're called Miss Rosa and Miss Kristen, and that's what the students refer to them as they come down to the office. At our school, we have a pledge, and we say it every day with the students, and we teach them, and we really try to live and work within this pledge within our school. Grizzlies are safe, responsible, respectful, and kind as we learn and grow. And so we really focus our lessons on social, emotional, and behavioral learning around these 4 words: safe, responsible, respectful, and kind. And so we will do things throughout the entire year at Student of the Month meetings, at different other, the teachers will teach lessons on these things, very direct lessons on this, about how to be these things around the school. For instance, what does it mean to be safe? When we will talk to the students, it means that you walk in the hallways, that you keep your hands, feet, and objects to yourself. All of those types of things, there will be direct and explicit instruction for students on those things. We also think at our school that our job is to awaken our possibilities today to lead to successful tomorrow, to give our students a lot of variety, a lot of opportunities to learn in a variety of different ways and using a variety of different materials. So they can really see there's a lot to do and think about in learning. It's not just the math, but it's also the way that you do the math, the things that you use, and the way that you think. And so we like to keep those possibilities open and really reach for and think of tomorrow as the goal. These are 5 very important people in our school. These are our young 5/kindergarten teachers. Mrs. Macklick, from my left to right. Mrs. Macklick is a special education teacher who has students that she sees in kindergarten. Mrs. Outland is one of our kindergarten teachers. She was previously a young 5s teacher, so a lot of people are thinking that but she made a transition from young 5s to kindergarten. So Mrs. Outland's waving right now. Mrs. Outland, why don't you unmute yourself and say good evening to everybody.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our meeting. I can't wait to see you all next year. I see some familiar faces.
There's Mrs. Outland. The next person that we have that I'd like to introduce is Mrs. Stewart. Mrs. Stewart is finishing her end of her first year with us, but not her first year teaching. She came to us with a wonderful amount of experience, and we were very pleased and happy to have her part of our staff. Mrs. Stewart, unmute yourself and say good evening to everybody.
Hey everybody, nice to meet you all. And I'm so glad Miss Outland moved up to kindergarten so I could come along. So we're going to have a great year. I'm excited to meet everybody.
So yeah, Mrs. Stewart is our young 5s teacher, and she is still slated in that same position for next year. We have Miss Van with us, Miss Van Walligan, and she is one of our other kindergarten teachers. Miss Van Walligan's been teaching kindergarten for just a couple of years, no, a little few more than that. She's our most experienced kindergarten teacher, and so there she is. Hi, Miss Van. Say good evening to everybody.
Hi. Welcome, everybody. I'm excited for next year. We're going to have a good year, so let's bring it on.
Thank you, Miss Van. Our other kindergarten teacher, you see a picture of Mrs. Weitzel. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us tonight. Sadly, they did have a death in their family, and she is with her family right now. and taking care of the business that goes along with that. So I know that our Gudith family is with her and with good thoughts, and as she's going through this difficult time. She wanted me to send her her welcome message to you. We have a question that needs to be answered. What do we have?
Is Ms. Outland going to be teaching in person next year?
Yeah. The question is Mrs. Outland going to be teaching in person next year? As of right now, yes. All of these teachers that you see will be teaching in person next year. Okay? I'll talk a little bit about what some of the options that we are been discussing. Nothing's finalized, but I'll talk about some of those at the end about in-person, remote, and those types of things. Again, this year was a big, a new kind of year for us, and we had a lot of different safety protocols, and it's a little unsure right now what specific COVID protocols will be in store for us next year, but we do have these general disease transmission things in place every single year. And so we want to be sure that if your child is exhibiting any out of the ordinary medical symptoms, that they should stay home, okay? This is going to be some of our students' first time in a school setting. So we know by bringing all of these students together in this kind of setting, a lot of germs are shared. In some ways that's good because we need to build up immunities, and others, when we have a pandemic or something like COVID, it becomes a problem. So we really need to be very strict in our health protocols. So anything that temperature, when it's getting close to that 100 degree, they should stay home. They should stay home until they haven't had a temperature for 24 hours without medication. So they need to get back to normal on their own. Okay, so if they have a severe productive cough, a runny nose, red eyes with drainage, vomiting, diarrhea, any of those types of things. And with all that being said, you know your child's, okay? You know your child, and if they have allergies. Yes, they're going to be a little stuffy if they have allergies. So we're talking about any unusual or worsening symptoms, okay? If you are someone whose child has allergies, the best thing to do is make sure you have strong communication with your teacher at the beginning of the school year. Make sure they understand that this is the symptoms and these are the things, that this is normal for them, and making sure the teacher knows what's normal for your child. And then that will prevent a lot of phone calls at the beginning of the year, those types of things. That strong communication with your teacher. So we do have strict and strong cleaning protocols in the classroom. The classrooms are electrostatically cleaned and manually cleaned every single day. We have touch points that will continue, those high frequency touch points, door handles, sink handles, those types of things are cleaned multiple times a day. The building's vacuumed every day, all those types of things. If you've been into our school, if you have upperclassmen, I'm very proud in the way that the school looks and the way that our custodial staff works and cleans our building. They really take a lot of pride in making sure that it is clean and ready for learning. So, like I said, it does have a lot of students there, so we do have accidents, we do have, people get sick, and those things are addressed immediately through the staff. So very, very pleased with the way that we're able to, the buildings we're able to offer our families. So are you ready for kindergarten? That's the big question. Because kindergarten is not the way that it used to be many years ago, even just a few years ago. It has changed very dramatically over the last couple of years. In the past, kindergarten used to be more focused on getting students ready to be a learner. A lot of social interactions, a lot of gross and fine motor skills. Now, those are all still part of kindergarten, but there's so much more. Now we have to, the biggest focus is on that academic development and those readiness skills in reading, writing, and math. So it is important that we know where we are and what the expectation is for the start of kindergarten. Starting kindergarten is a big step. Your child may feel happy, sad, excited, worried, and curious. they will have all of these feelings, some of them all at the same time. Actually, you will have a lot of these feelings, a lot of them all at the same time as a parent. So you're going to feel these, and different days might feel a little differently. We know and expect and are ready for some tears at the beginning of the school year. It happens every year, and we know that happens. But I will assure you that 9 times out of 10, more than that, 99% of the time, those tears end very quickly as soon as the students get into a routine. Moments later, they get into class, they see the fun, they see the routine, they learn the expectations, and those tears really, they go away. Sometimes not forever. Sometimes there's days, good days and bad days, but we know how to deal with those, and we're ready for that. I'm not going to go through these slides specifically because this presentation is going to be posted on our website, so you're going to be welcome to go back and look at this. But as we're talking about kindergarten as a strong academic year now, that we need to know that there are certain milestones that we look at, academic milestones in the area of reading for our students. Okay, so a student that is age 0 to 3 should be mimicking sounds, rhyming words that adults, making, associating words that they see all the time, high frequency words that are in their life. And so, you know, a student can walk down or ride down the street and see McDonald's and know it's McDonald's because they're recognizing symbols mean things. Those are the types of things that those young kids should be able to do. They should recognize some familiar books and covers and, you know that that's a story and their favorite stories. Again, 0 to 3, some of these things are closer to 0, some of them are closer to 3. Students that are at age 3 to 4, they should be attempting to do some writing on their own. They might not have a firm or appropriate grip, but they should be able to start putting some crayon or pencil to paper. They should recognize common signs and labels like we talked about before, the McDonald's one, that is in this age group as well. They should enjoy listening to stories. They should be read to very, very often. And they should be able to write some letters in the age 3 to 4. And so that's where we're at. So when we get to age 5, students should be able to tell a simple story. They should be able to describe and use descriptive language in their stories and in their feelings. They should have a strong connection to letters and sounds, that a letter produces as a name and a sound. And they should be able to begin to write common words. So as you can see, these milestones at the age of 5 is the start of kindergarten. Okay, so that's why it's important that we are looking at the age and where students are. Okay, so boiling all that down, day 1 of kindergarten. Students should know and be able to recognize letters. Okay, they should know and be able to produce the sounds for most of those letters as they start kindergarten. That's a lot to ask, and that is a lot to ask. A couple things you can do to get them ready for that. The ABC song is great. It really is. It's fun. It's great. However, learning the ABC song doesn't necessarily mean they know their letters, because the letters they need to be able to recognize letters out of sequence and randomly. So students that learns the ABC song, what they did was learn a song. So let's make sure that we're taking the letters out of the song and using them randomly and pointing to them and what letter is this and what letter is that, and maybe getting some flashcards and mixing them up. Another great I'll get to that later. Okay. Entering kindergartners, some other things that we should be practicing over the summer. They should be able to know and say their first and last name. So, what's your name, sweetheart? They should be able to tell us their first and last name. Miss Van or Mrs. Outland or Mrs. Stewart, they're going to get around 20 to 25 students all on day 1, and it's going to take them a day or so, and it is crazy how fast they do. How fast they get to know all of your kids by face and name and all that stuff. But it's going to take them a day or so to know that. So they need to be able to that first day ask the names. we should practice students dressing themselves. They should be able to snap and button whatever clothing that they have on for the day. You should start practicing tying shoes. Now, the teachers will help with this. However, there are 25 of them, and if they had to tie 25 shoes, it does take forever, and it will wear the teacher's fingers to the bone. So, let's start practicing tying of shoes. Students that enter in kindergarten should be able to use the restroom on their own properly and doing all the things they need to do in the restroom on their own. Students, we would hope, would be able to separate from their parents without crying and accept being told no. Because unfortunately, sometimes, no, I'm sorry, we can't do that right now. No, I'm sorry, it's not time for that. We're going to get to it later. They're going to hear the word no at times through the classroom because of routine and structure that needs to be put in place. So we need to be sure that we are, that students know that it's okay to hear the word no. Couple more things. They should be able to recognize their name when they see it in print. They should be able to speak so we can hear them. I know I got old ears, and sometimes I need some people to repeat some things, and when they speak so softly, we got to teach them to use that strong voice. Speaking in 4 to 5 word sentences, using crayons, glue, scissors correctly, all those things you could practice over the summer. Sit and listen while others are talking or listening to a story. We're not asking them to sit and listen for 45 minutes to a story, but they should be able to sit and listen for 5 to 10 minutes to a story at a time. Okay? And then taking turns, sharing, following rules. We've gone through some of these already. The letters I've mentioned already. Numbers I didn't mention yet, but they should know and be able to recognize numbers from 1 to 10. Hold a pencil correctly. You can go to pretty much any store now and get a pencil grip to help you learn to teach them the right way to hold a pencil. Counting through 20 and basic colors and basic shapes. So, all of that's a lot. And that's a lot even before we start teaching them all the other things that we have to teach our friends to do when they get into kindergarten. So that's why the kindergarten age is so important. Back in the year 2015, our state of Michigan moved the kindergarten age to September 1st. You had to be 5 before September 1st. But because we knew some parents really were wanting, and some of our students needed that extra time, that's when we started developing that Young Fives classroom that will capture our students that maybe are already 5 but just turned 5, or our students that will be 5 from September 1st through November 30th. And so that's where we have here our Young Fives classroom. So Young Fives is offered to our students between June 1st and November 30th. If your birthday falls in December, so if you're turning 5 in December, then you're not actually eligible to start a K-12 program this school year. And so if you have a specific question on that, that is something that we can talk directly about. Just call me at school. Okay, question?
Is there a speech program to help the kids with speech issues?
So, yes, there is a speech program at our school. We have a speech pathologist. Actually, we have 2 speech pathologists that work at school, and they both work on language and speaking and expressive language and auditory listening, and they also work on articulation things. So what is the difference between Young Fives? If you are one of those people that have that birthday falling, that's okay, they're 5, they can start kindergarten, but maybe I'm not quite so sure. Maybe some of the stuff I've shared with you scared you a little bit. So we are looking at these are some things how to compare. They're both full-day programs. Birth dates for kindergarten, you can start automatically if your birth date is before September 1st. You have that window for Young Fives. Young Fives, there's been several names of it over the years. Begindergarten, developmental kindergarten, all of those things we've called to this but it is a little bit slower curriculum. So we are, those students that don't know any letters and sounds and you fall within that age, this is probably a great place. Those students that have not gone to a preschool, which has been difficult in COVID time, this is probably a great place. Although, please know that registration for young fives is on a first come, first served basis. So if you're thinking about it, the best thing to do is call and ask me some questions. We can have a conversation. I'll get to more a little bit about how to know in just a few minutes. So young fives is a little bit slower. Emphasis on the basic skills. There's an afternoon rest time throughout the year. Kindergarten is a little bit different. Again, it is more curriculum based. It's more about reading, writing, and math. There is a rest time at the beginning of the year. That rest time seems to wean away a bit as we get through the year. As we get him closer to first grade, that rest time will go away. Academics, our young fives should, by the end of the year, should have all the letter recognition and letter sounds. They should be able to read 20 to 30 sight words. As composed in kindergarten, they're going to be reading 80 to 100 sight words. So you can see it's a lot of the same work that's happening in kindergarten and young fives. However, it's just at a different level. There's more and deeper in kindergarten that they're going to do than they are in young fives. So, schedule. Both classrooms are a full day schedule. They both will have things like meeting time, calendar time. They will both have instruction in ELA. They will both have instruction in math, writing, all of those things. They will, but it's the level in which they go to. Kindergarten is just much more rigorous, and there's more focus on the instructional time, a little less on the free play and center time in kindergarten, and there's more of that kind of stuff in young fives. Yes, there are multiple presentations and things going on. So you're hearing another room, actually, if you're hearing a little bit of sound. So we're sorry about that. Should be getting a little quieter in just a moment. Why is this decision has become very important the last couple of years of kindergarten and young fives and knowing the right placements and getting ready for kindergarten and the challenges of kindergarten. Because our state a couple of years ago created a law, and it's the Read by Third Grade law. And it says that the students, when they get to third grade, that do not get a certain proficiency level on the M-STEP test, which is our state assessments, that the state will say that they have to be retained because they do not acquire the needed skills for reading at that time. Educators and politicians alike have a lot of debates on this law. It's always up for review every single year, but currently we are still living and working under the Read by Third Grade law. There are different exemptions that someone could get in a third grade law that would prevent them from getting that letter or being retained. There are a number of good cause exemptions, but unfortunately this is what we're going with and what we have to, the rules that we have to follow. And so that's why it's very important that we take a look at where we're at and have some honest conversations about the right placement for our students, because sometimes students, particularly in the area of reading, need that gift of time. So giving them that young fives experience really gives them that gift of time that they need to acquire the skills that they are looking for. Part of what we do is we try to keep you informed as parents about where your child is and their progress at all times. And one of those ways that we do that is called an IRIP, which is an individual reading intervention plan. And so anyone that might be below where we feel that they need to be at the start of the school year or the midway through the school year, you're going to get a written plan from us of what we are doing to help your child meet the challenges of the standards of reading and writing. And so this is something that's telling you of how, things that we're doing in the classroom, possibly giving them additional support, things that you could do at home to help with that process as well. This is another thing that's on top of the regular weekly progress that you're going to get through the work that comes home, through the report cards that come home throughout the year. So things to consider, questions to ask yourself about young fives in kindergarten. Then we'll move on to some other things. What is your child's birthday? Does it fall between June 1 and December 1 range? That's probably an indication young fives is appropriate. Can my child complete the majority of the entering kindergarten expectations? Not all of them, because that's a lot, but many of them. If the answer is no, then it should be something we should think about young fives for. Is my child socially, physically, and developmentally ready for kindergarten? That is something you'll know that you know about your child, because you know your child better than anybody else at this point. And so those are the questions you need to ask yourself. Would a year of young fives give my child that physical, social, and or academic advantage? I will tell you my own story about that. My son's birthday is November 20th. And at the time, like I said, he's 15. And at the time he was in kindergarten, young fives did not exist. So he started kindergarten 4, turning 5. And so he is now in 10th grade. And although academically he does pretty well, he's still way smaller than everybody else. He's a year younger than everybody else. He's in sports competing with people that are a year older than him, for those same things. And when you look at projected out, he is going to go to college when he's 17, and he won't turn 18 until probably the end of his first semester of college. And so those are things you need to think of. So when you are if you are a young fiver and you start kindergarten, that's kind of where you're going to fall in those ages. You're going to be the first one driving, which is sometimes good, but also bad because then all your friends want rides. So all of those things you need to think about. Please take a look at that decision, not just now, but also what implication it has in the future. No one has come back to us and said, oh, that was a mistake, I shouldn't have done it. People have only come back to us and said, I wish I would have done it. So if you have questions, please reach out to me and we can talk specifically about your concerns. So what will kindergarten and school be like for our friends? You're going to meet new friends. There's going to be structure and routine in all of our classrooms. It's going to be new settings and new activities. We're going to be learner focused and learning focused, or always focused on the learning. Going back, reteaching. When students aren't quite there, we go back and we reteach until they get it. And hopefully, most of all, we can offer lessons in a classroom environment that is fun, because learning and fun does not have to be separate. That learning and fun can go hand in hand. So we're going to explore our world. Cute little picture here. That picture is a number of years old, and that is Mrs. Outland's daughter when she was in kindergarten. I leave this picture in here because I just love it so much. And that little girl right there, she's graduating this year from high school. So wonderful little history there. We have circle life time activities, so students have a lot of movement around the classrooms. They'll go from the carpet area back to their desks, to small groups, to centers. They'll be it doesn't matter now, we're talking about generally. This happens in young fives and kindergarten, these types of things happen. They're going to learn through play. They will be centers along the classroom. There's kitchens, there's puppets, there's center materials, there are games, there's computers, there's iPads. All of those things are in all of our classrooms. We're going to do a lot of hands-on learning. Yes, there's a lot of times we need to practice reading and writing, and we need to use paper and pencil to practice those types of things. But we also need to practice for those students that don't learn necessarily that way, those students that learn by doing. So we'll have a lot of ways that they can do and learn. So instead of coloring a graph here, look, these students are making graphs with, this would have been around Valentine's Day. They're making graphs with candy and manipulating the things that way so they can have that tactile experience. Some other things that will happen throughout our day at kindergarten is they will go to different specials classes. All of our students will go to physical education, and that Mr. Bono is our physical education teacher. They will go to computer class in our library, and that's with Mrs. Sadberry. They'll go to art class with Mrs. Smith and music class with Mrs. Wykowski. Now, they will go to Mrs. Sadberry once a week for computers and media class. The others classes, they will go once or twice depending on the time of school year. That changes throughout the school year. But they will have all of these classes all year long, just at a different rotation. So how to help your child prepare for kindergarten? Help your child prepare by speaking positively about school, that it's a great place to be, you're going to have so much fun. Build their confidence in the things that they do well. Build their confidence and make sure that they know that they might not be able to do something yet, but with practice, they're going to get there. Set some daily routines at your house so they get used to following routines and understanding that there are certain ways and certain things and ways that we have to do things. Set a strong bedtime routine for your students. Show your students that learning can be fun. Play games with them, so they learn how to follow the rules. Teach your child about proper hygiene, washing their hands, coughing and sneezing and appropriately in their elbows. I'm hoping personally we don't have to wear masks when we get to school next year, but it's a possibility. We still might have some mask wearing, and I don't know, but we'll know that before the start of school. And one of the most important things that you can do to prepare your child for kindergarten and learning is read to your child every day. Read to your child every day. They need to hear what good reading sounds like. They need to hear the voices and the silliness, and they need to hear what you're thinking about as you read. So read and share your thoughts about the story with your child every day. We will have 2 dates that we will publicize to you. All of you that are here, or maybe not all, but almost all of you that are here, we have your email addresses and we have all of your information from your pre-registration into kindergarten for next year. So we're going to start sharing some information with you. There are going to be 4 different dates to choose from, 2 in July, 2 in August, that you can actually bring your student in, sit down one-on-one with one of our kindergarten staffs and do a screener. And that's going to give you an opportunity to know where they stand on some of the kindergarten expectations, and going to maybe help you understand what are some things you need to work on over the summer. So if you are really unsure about those things, then you might want to sign up for one of the June dates. They will be not while school is in. So after June 16th is our last day of school. So it'll be probably the next week after that. Give the teachers a couple of days to finish up the school year, and then probably the following week. The dates have not been set yet, but they will be set very soon. We'll send it out to you to sign up for those dates. And then there'll be 2 more in August to capture those people that want to work on things over the summer first, or maybe those people that have registered late and those types of things. And those will be closer to the start of the school year. Those are scheduled as 2 people at a time. We'll have 2 staff members there. The screener takes about 20 minutes with your child, so we schedule 30 minutes appointments. We ask that the teacher be one-on-one with the students, and that way that's another test to be sure the student can separate from mom or dad. But if needed, the parent can be there if that's what needs to happen. Okay. One of the new things that we're going to have next year, our state again is test. There's going to be it's a state assessment, the kindergarten readiness assessments, and this doesn't happen before they start school. This happens within the first 30 to 45 days of school that the teachers will be administering to all of the students. This is a state assessment that's required by the state now, but there's also our individual school assessments that we do. We do something called a STAR early literacy test, and that helps us with early literacy and early math skills to help identify where students are with those types of things. The kindergarten readiness assessment is one time a year. It's at the beginning of the year. It covers language arts, mathematics, physical well-being, and motor development. Our Start Early Literacy Test we give 3 or more times a year, depending on what kind of support you need, and that helps us show progress and growth throughout the year as well. That's a little bit more about the kindergarten readiness assessment. There's a lot in here, so you might want to go back and look at this just to refresh yourself once it's posted to our website. So getting ready for the first day of school. Go over safety rules. Make sure your child knows if they're a car rider or if they are a busser. We have lists, and we'll make sure that they go to the right place. But it is a lot of students on that first day of school and learning that routine. So please make sure that they know that. Your kindergarten teachers will have something for you to fill out very specifically about and it will include transportation, what way your child gets home. So make a routine about school. Get up with enough time for your students to actually wake up without having to rush out the door. Set a bedtime. That's so most important. Please know that 4 to 7-year-olds need 10 to 12 hours of sleep a day. And so if you are getting your child up at 7 a.m. to start your day, then they should be going to bed between 7 and 8 o'clock. Okay? And so that's something that's very important. And so you can, that's just the 10 to 12 hours of sleep. The more sleep they have, the better days will be. Also, be positive. Encourage your child to ask questions and share their feelings with you. How are you feeling about this? So they can say, I'm scared, I'm anxious, I'm happy. All of those feeling words are going to help them be successful in kindergarten. Make sure your child eats a breakfast every morning. Actually, that leads me to the news we just found out that our free breakfast and lunch program will be extended all the way through next year as well. So breakfast and lunch will be available for all of our students every day at school. If you are someone that would have previously qualified for free and reduced lunch, it is very important that you continue to fill out that paperwork, because that ties to other benefits that you get, like those EBT cards and things like that you might be hearing about right now. And so it's important to still fill out the paperwork. However, everyone will have the opportunity to eat breakfast and lunch free of charge at school. We do offer, again, transportation to all of our in-district residents that are in our catchment area, which means if you live in the Gudith area, you will have transportation. If you live outside the Gudith area, outside of Woodhaven Brownstown, or outside of the Gudith area, and you're choosing to bring your child to school, there wouldn't be transportation then for that. Currently, our transportation provider is Trinity. Full transparency, that their contract is up, and they're rebidding for that contract. So I don't know exactly who will have that contract, but it will be. We will have transportation for our students next year. Our food service again is provided by Sodexo, and I believe that they will remain with us next year. They provide our breakfast and lunch. They also are the ones that provide all the food for our take-home summer meals. They're also always looking for people to join their staff, and they work a couple hours midday at their lunchtime. And so if it's something that you're wanting to do, you can look at our district websites and see how you could get involved with that. How do you stay connected at our school? There's lots of ways to stay connected. There is, first is join our PTO. We sadly have very little attendance at our PTO meetings. And I don't know if that's because people don't want to, or because our PTO is pretty efficient and does offer some great programs and people might not think that they're needed. I'm telling you, they are needed. At one time, our PTO board and the board were all moms and dads that were able to stay at home and had free time, a little extra free time throughout the day to do things for our school. That's not the case anymore. All of our board members actually have jobs outside the home as well. So we are looking for people to help. As you can see, currently our vice president position is open. And so we are looking for people to join the board. We are looking for people to just be there to offer support. We are looking for people to actually be the chairperson for any of these types of activities listed in the purple, or any new ideas that you have. We're always open for the new ideas and for new blood to come into that organization. So please know that you are welcome and wanted and needed. Other ways to stay informed is our Gudith Elementary PTO Facebook page. This is a closed Facebook page for security reasons. We don't want people we don't know scrolling through our page. And so there are security questions that you need to answer about our school and about your child's teacher and who your child teacher has. And before I let you in, I go back through and I make sure that that is really the case. We do have a Twitter account, and I do tweet sometimes, but that's not generally where our audience is. This third one, Class Dojo, is the biggest, one of the biggest ways to stay connected. Each of our teachers in the school has a Class Dojo page, and this goes, they can send you updates about their students on their classroom page. They'll share pictures, they will share lessons, they will share quick messages, they will share reminders. Those go to you just like a text message. You sign up for Dojo and you would get text messages from your teacher, and you can respond to the text messages. Now, I will tell you that the teachers only get about 45 minutes a day for planning. The rest of the time they have students in front of them. And so if they don't respond to your response immediately, please be patient. They will get to it. But they might not be able to get to it immediately. It might not be in real time. So if you have a question, it's a great way to do it. There's always email. Again, please be sure that you keep your email current in MyStar so that you get all of the updates from me. I am also on Dojo. I will send things both emails, Dojo, and Facebook. I put it in all three places. There is also something else to stay connected for emergency notifications. This is, again, just like a text message. If you text WBSD to 888-777, that signs you up for our Nextel account. And snow days alerts, that's the quickest and fastest way to get to know if there's a snow day. Reminders about lots of things at a district level. So that's another quick way to stay connected. So I want to thank you for joining me this evening. I want to thank you for choosing Gudith and the Woodhaven Brownstown School District, because these day and age you do have choices to go and enroll your child elsewhere. But I do think that we are the place to be, both at our school and our district. A lot of wonderful, great things that happen at our school and around our district. Our facilities are top-notch. I'd like to remind everybody that next week on Tuesday that we have the zero tax increase bond proposal. So please go out and vote. That bond proposal is going to help help in even further improve our facilities and offer some additional great programming for our students. And so with that, I want to open up for some questions. We don't have any more questions in the chat, but if you would like to ask, oh, we do have another question in the chat. Sorry. Is there a policy about splitting twins in kindergarten? There is not. Generally speaking, in kindergarten, generally, family members stay together for comfort level, but it's really up to the parents. If you want them that way, that's the way we'll do it. It's really driven by parents. As the students get older, we do recommend them go into separate classrooms so they can start to develop their own identity and their own the way of things. Our classrooms at all the grade levels run very similarly. So they might not be exactly on the same day, but the work is going to be very similar from classroom to classroom. So you shouldn't have to worry about homework issues when it comes to being in different classes. You shouldn't have to worry about any type of trip issues, because all of if we go on a field trip, the kindergarten classes go together. And so they all go at the same time, and so that wouldn't be a problem either, being in separate classes. Another questions? Any more questions?
Yeah, there was somebody raised their hand.
Okay, so Mr. Tim Trunzo, I see a hand raised. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, sir. Can you stop sharing and just put the mute, the Zoom now?
Yeah, that must have been a mistake.
Oh,
I apologize.
okay. Any other questions? Just go ahead, because I can't see everybody on the screen. Just go ahead, unmute yourself and say, excuse me, say your name, and then we'll get to your question. Mrs. Wyatt, I know you have a question. She's laughing. We go way back. It's all fun. Oh, you got to unmute yourself. Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay. I do have a question.
Yep.
But we have an IEP meeting coming up for Alexander in a few weeks, so I don't know if this is something you want me to wait for. But I was wondering if I can like talk to Mr. Bono about. I'm worried about Jim with Alexander.
Absolutely. Anybody that has any type of special need whatsoever in any way, shape, or form, physical, emotional, academic, always reach out to all or any of their teachers that you feel need to know. So anybody that has an IEP, that IEP is shared with all of their teachers, and so they will get to know what the goals are of the IEP, what the concerns of the IEP are. Okay, but it's always best to reach out and develop that communication with the teacher as well. Yep.
Okay, because I just wanted to know about his G2.
Yep,
So,
absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay. So with that, I want to say thank you again. Thank you for joining me this evening. We're going to end this call, this Zoom, and you're going to go, just give me a call at school. Talk to Miss Rosa, Miss Kristen, or myself. And Miss Rosa or Miss Kristen usually can answer your questions. If you have a relationship with one of our kindergarten teachers, if you've had kids in the past, send them an email, reach out to them with their question. They'll be honest with you and give you whatever information that you might need. Okay? We're here to help you. We're here to help you help them. And we're here to help make their learning experience the best it can be.
Mr. Martin,
Yes, Miss Van.
I just want to say, great job.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I know that's a lot. This has been videotaped. It's going to be on YouTube. I'm going to put the blank presentation, the actual just presentation itself on the website. So if you have any friends that missed it, please share that information and let them know where to find it, okay? We currently have 51 students registered for kindergarten/young fives. That's a lot for us at this time of the school year, and so we're gonna be full. So I'm excited about that.
Excuse me, Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Sorry, this is Annette Farkas.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there's going to be an opportunity at all to get our kindergartners a tour of the school.
There will be. Thank you. There will be before we go to school. We will have a meeting we call Popsicle with the Principal. It's an opportunity just for our kindergartners and new students to our school. I'm expanding that a little bit this year, but it's generally our kindergartners and young fivers that have never been to our school before that we can come in. We're going to have Popsicle with me. You get to see where the classrooms are. You get to meet your teacher on that night, those types of things. And Mrs. Farkas, actually, you are reminding me about another question because I did not talk about what our opportunities for learning will be for next year. So I apologize for that. As I said in the presentation, that we are planning on all three of our kindergarten teachers and young five teachers to be in person teaching students in class. But our district is still planning on offering some type of virtual experience for those that need it or want that. It will be done, it will be by a Woodhaven Brownstown School District teacher, but not one of the teachers you met tonight. I don't know who that will be yet, but there will be something offered for a remote classroom, similar to what we've done this year with one of our teachers teaching through Zoom or Google Meet or something like that, using Google Classroom or Seesaw, those types of things. But we are really trying and hoping and focusing our instruction back on to in-person instruction, because whereas some students did fine and did well in the remote section, we still strongly believe that students can strive and thrive even more in an in-person setting. So that's what we're really going to try to focus our efforts on. But we also know that several people need that other option, so there'll be something offered. Okay?
I have a question, Mr. Martin.
Yes, go ahead.
So will it be the same next year where there's specific times throughout the year where you could change your choice if you felt you needed to, or will it be once you decide at the start of the year you'll have to stick with what you've chosen?
I'm guessing, but knowing that our district really wants to make parents feel comfortable, make them feel welcome, make them feel part of the process, that there would be opportunity to move back and forth at an appropriate break of the school year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Just to let you know, my link came from Irving instead of Gudith, and you made me nervous when
Oh,
you
no.
said you're super full.
I'm so sorry.
I chose to come to the Gudith meeting assuming I'm still good to go.
Yeah, as far as I know, you're on my list. So
Okay, wonderful.
that's probably because you moved in the catchment area, but we
Yes.
should be okay. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Anybody else?
One more question.
Yes, Ashley, go ahead.
So if I already registered him for kindergarten and I changed my mind to set him up for young fives, do I have to go back on the website and fill out another form?
No, just call the school, talk to Miss Rosa, and she can make that change. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions before we say goodnight?
Yeah.
Okay, who's yeah?
Sorry, it went off. This is Delancey Burt.
Okay,
I
hi
have
there.
a son in Young Fives. And do you feel like we're going to be on track to maybe allowing to have parent volunteers in the classroom sometime this year, or possibly doing field trips?
Yeah.
Or do we not know that yet?
I don't know that. Again, we hope so, that we can go
Yeah.
back to some type of a more normalcy, particularly in the kindergarten classrooms with our younger students in kindergarten first. Our teachers do rely on parent and family volunteers to help in the classroom and those types of things. We got through this year. It was hard doing
Yeah.
Halloween parties and Valentine's Day things. It was hard, but it is so much better when we can offer and parents can feel a little bit more connected. So we hope that we'll be able to do that. But only time will tell. We did see today, I saw the governor released a whole schedule of what we can do when, and based on percentage of vaccinations. So once we get to a certain percentage of vaccinations, as more people get vaccinated, the more normal we can go. So hopefully people are taking advantage of their vaccinations when they can, and so that's going to allow us to do more things. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. So, all right. Last call for questions. Again, thank you so much. I like seeing your faces on Zoom, and reach out to me. If something comes up, reach out, and we'll get it answered. Thank you for the staff that is here after teaching all day. I should say one other thing. There's a parent here. She's a parent, but Lauren McCann, the Lauren McCann, she's actually a staff member also at our school, who has a student starting with our school this year too. So she's one of our speech pathologists. So welcome as a parent, Mrs. McCann, also. But she's one of those that someone asked about speech. She's probably going to be the one that would be helping. Okay. All right, family, friends, thank you for joining us. Welcome to Gudith. Or if you've been here, thanks for staying. talk to you all real soon, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.